Hi everyone, Amber here from So Majestic. I hope you're all doing well. If you celebrate any of the holidays this month, I wish you a very happy holiday and a very happy new year. Today we are sewing up month 6 of Cotton Cuts Carnival. Like always, I am sewing up a small lemonade, and this month was so much fun. We have 4 different sections. So we have 6A, 6B, and 6C and 6D, which we just reversed the half square triangles. So it was a lot of fun, lots of piecing, but I really enjoyed it. And just to let you know that in February, the new Tree of Life puzzle mystery quilt will be starting. I'm going to be an ambassador again, and I am Team Moonlit. So I will be sewing up a small moonlit, and if you'd like to join in, I do have a link to the signups in the description. It is an affiliate link, so if you've enjoyed sewing along with me and want to continue, I would love if you consider using my link. But again, I hope you enjoy this tutorial and have.
All right, so we are on month 6. I have all my pieces laid out on my sewing table, my wool pressing mat and iron, and I am sewing on my Singer 5528 using Aurifil thread and a 7010 needle. So month 6, I'm so excited about. There are 4 different sections, 6A, 6B, 6C, and 6D. So I will be completing one of each for the video. And I'm really excited because I think this is the most that we've ever done with different sections. And the pieces look really unique. So I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so let's start with 6A. And on the side it shows the quantities. I'm going to be doing 1 for each instead of the 2 just for the video. But you'll want to do 2 and make it easier for yourself. Okay, so for step 1.1, we are joining a small triangle B. So for me, that is the brownish fabric, and a small triangle C. And if you can see in step 1.2, we're also doing half square triangles. So I'm going to lay them out at the same time so I can just sew them together to save time. So for that, I need A and a B fabric. All right. So again, you can clip these or pin these together. I just line them up when they're small like this because they line up perfectly, they're not stretched, and I don't feel like I need to take time to clip them. And I'm using a full 1/4 inch seam allowance. That's how I've been sewing every month. And I'm not very accurate with the scant 1/4. So this works out well for me. I also don't worry about measuring or trimming any of my blocks. As long as I have been with consistent with the seam allowance, it has worked out perfectly for every quilt that I've done so far. Okay, so for our first one with the B and C fabric, we are pressing our seam towards the top, towards the B. And then for step 1.2, with the B and the A fabric, we are pressing towards the bottom, but it's also our B fabric. Okay, now we're on step 1.3, So it says sew step 1.1 to the left of a rectangle B. So this is our 1.1, and we need a rectangle B. And I'm just going to go in order one step at a time because it combines it all together. So I am going to sew this first. And I'm making sure that I am folding it correctly so that way I'm sewing the correct side. And then these seams are going to be pressed towards the rectangle side. So I'm going to press that first and then gently open. Okay, so we just did to the left of a rectangle B. Now it's telling us add a square F to the right. So for me, F is this yellow fabric. So I'm going to add that next. Okay, and this seam is also being pressed to the right towards the square F that we're adding. Gently open that. All right, and now it says, then sew step 1.2 to the right of the square. So I'm going to make sure that my fabric is lined up correctly. A is towards the top, B is towards the bottom. So I'm going to fold that and line that up. Okay, and now this one is being pressed towards that F square. So I'm going to press the back side first and then gently open it. Okay, and then our last section is we need to add a small rectangle D to the right of this piece that we've done. So I'm going to line that up carefully. Okay, and then this one is also being pressed towards the half square triangle side, so to the left. So I'm going to press the back first and then gently open. All right, so you should have 2 of these. This is our section 6A, so you can label that and set it aside. Now I'm on section 6B, and looks like a lot of half square triangles. So section 1.1, we need a triangle E and a triangle B. And again, I'm going to do these at the same time. I'm going to do 1.1 and 1.2. So now I also need a triangle C and another triangle B. Okay, I'm going to line them up. And the same for this one here. My bobbin ran out, so let me fix that. All right, so I had to rewind my bobbin. Again, I'm stitching these at the same exact time. And I like doing that because I found with the Aurifil thread, like it curls up a lot. I'm used to working with like polyester or nylon making bags. So this tends to curl up and then I forget to hold my tails and it gets sucked in. So I like when I can stitch things together and chain stitch them. Okay, so for the first one, our seam is being pressed towards the E fabric, which is down. Okay, and then for this one here, it is also being pressed towards our B fabric. It's also down. All right, so now section 1.3, we need our BE fabric on top and our CB fabric on the bottom. So my 2B fabric should be facing towards the left. And we are going to sew them together and making sure that I am lining up the sides and making sure that I sew the correct side, as I have a really bad habit of rotating these. Something about the half square triangles. Okay, and it is going to be pressed towards the bottom, which is the CB. Okay, and then gently open that up. All right, and I'm going to set that aside for just a moment. So now we have step 2.1. We have an A triangle and a C triangle. And then 2.2 has an E triangle and an A triangle. So I am going to do the same exact thing and chain stitch them. And again, trimming my threads. So the first one with the AC fabric, we are pressing towards the A triangle. So that's towards the top. And then this one we are pressing towards the E fabric, which is also opening towards the top. Okay, so step 2.3, we are going to attach our AC half square triangle to the top of our EA. So again, we want to make sure our A's are pointing towards the right and our two are colored next to each other. And again, I'm going to line them up and make sure I'm sewing the correct side. See, it's like curling up again. Okay, and this one's going to be pressed towards the bottom, which is our fabric that has the E fabric. Okay, and you should have 2 of these, but for this I'm doing 1. I'm going to set that to the side because our step 3, now it says we're doing 4 of each, so I'm going to do 2 of these. So for 3.1, it says join a small triangle E to a small triangle D. So again, because we're doing 2, I'm going to lay out 2. So here's E, and D fabric is my green fabric. And then 3.2 is C fabric and E fabric. So my C fabric is this green one that has more yellow in it. And the E fabric is the blue. Fabrics are sticking together today. All right, so now we have 4, and I am again going to chain stitch these all together. And if you're doing the whole section at once, you should have 8. Again, these line up perfectly. I love that they're die cut. I hate the time it takes having to cut all sorts of pieces. And if you're a new quilter, you might not have all the fancy rulers and rotary cutter. So this is a great way if you do not like that part or you don't have the tools. So our sections that have the ED fabric, those are both being pressed towards the top, towards the E fabric. All right, and then these here that have the C fabric, they are also going to be pressed towards the top, but for this side it is our C fabric that they are being pressed towards. And again, I'm just being really gentle, opening these. They're so easy to stretch and warp. All right, so we just did steps 3.1 and 3.2. So we need to sew our step 3.3. We're taking step 3.2, which is one of our CEs, and we are sewing it to the right of our 3.1. So if you look here, the E fabric's top left and bottom left. D fabric, C fabric towards the top. So I am just double checking. And again, we're making 2 of these. And I am being very mindful. Again, I'm sewing the correct side. Because they're squares, sometimes I move them and end up attaching the wrong side. And I'm going to chain stitch these. Okay, and they are going to be pressed to the left hand side, the side that has our E triangle in the top left and the D fabric on the bottom. Okay, so now we're on step 3.4, and it says join 2 step 3.3 units as shown. So I am making sure my E fabric with the C fabric is on the top. So here's my E, here's my C fabric. Now for the bottom section, I need to rotate it. And if it is rotated and sewn correctly, your top left and bottom right will be your E. Your top right and bottom left will be your C fabric, and these will be across from each other. And we are sewing them together, and because they both have seams here, I am going to be mindful. The seams should nest if you've pressed them the correct directions, but I am going to clip that first and then align the rest of my edge. That way my points should line up. And then for this one here, we are pressing to the top. So I'm gently folding this open. So my point right here is a little bit off. You can see that it's off on the side. So when I started sewing it, the seam, it got a little bit thick there, so I might pick this one apart. Normally I'm not really picky about it, but it is kind of off a lot on this side. So I'm just going to take a second and re-sew this and redo this part. Okay, so I took a second and I re-sewed this, and it lines up much better. The point is much better. So I'm happy I did that. Now, step 4, we need to sew step 1.3, which is our piece we had set to the side with the 2 B triangles on the top and the bottom. And this is going to the left of the piece that we just finished. So I am going to fold it, and again, line up my centers first. And again, the seams do nest. And then I'm going to line up the rest of my block. And then this seam is going to be pressed to the left. So it's going to be pressed towards the shorter side we just added. Okay, and I'm just taking a second with all these half square triangles. The center right here is very thick. So if you did it correctly, you will see that our E fabrics line up and our C fabrics. Okay, and then the next step, we are going to take the other piece from step 2.3 and we are going to line it up on the right hand side. And you can see if you did it correctly because again, your pieces will line up, your colors I mean. And I am going to take my time aligning the seams. And this side is going to be pressed to the left as well, which is the bigger section. So I'm going to press on the back first. Oh, you can see my presser foot flip this seam. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just press it. There might be a little bit of a bump there, but I usually back my quilts with like a minky or something. So again, I'm not gonna stress about that. Especially because my presser foot pressure is so high and it can't adjust on this machine, that tends to happen if I'm not really careful. If the seam is underneath, it will flip. Right, I'm just giving it all a little press. Okay, and then this is our 6B section, and I'm going to set that to the side. All right, so now we are working on 6C and 6D together. So I need, we're going to make 4, but I'm going to do 2 on the video. So I need 2 of my A triangles, and then 2 of my D triangles. And again, I am going to sew them at the same time. Make sure I'm lining them up. And then for both of these, they are being pressed towards the A fabric. So both up to the top left. All right, and now, so step 2, you are going to take the one that has the A to the left, and we are going to attach a D rectangle underneath. And we're going to make 2. So for the video, I'm going to do 1, but I'm going to do step 2 and 3 at the same time because they're literally the same exact thing, except for this one, for step 3, I'm turning my A piece to the top right and then attaching on the bottom. Okay, and again, I'm going to sew these at the exact same time just to make it easier for myself. Okay, and then for pressing, I want to be mindful because they're going to go different ways. So for this one that has the A in the top left, we are pressing the seams down towards the rectangle. And now for this one that has the A fabric pointing to the top right, we are pressing that up towards the half square triangles. All right, and so now this is our section 6C and 6D, and you should have 2 of them, so make sure that you set them aside and label them.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for sewing along with me today. I hope you enjoyed month 6. I hope you will be continuing and following along as we finish up Lemonade, but also starting Tree of Life with me. And I wish you all a happy new year. As always, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up or consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much and take care. Bye.